Welcome back. So now that we finished Romy, we're gonna do Michele. Like I said before, I am using Frankenstein from Monster High, which I have her right here, and then Felicity Smoke from Arrow, which I have right here. I'll be using her head, her body, Michele. Alright. So of course, to start things off, we're going to take the heads off. Finally. Alright, so now that we have them apart, I'm gonna go ahead and strip the color from Frankie over here, and match the skin tone to Felicity. Also, we need to get rid of these. I don't know, the bolts, Frankie's bolts, because obviously Michele doesn't have those. Alright, so I did as much as I could without ruining the material, because if you put too much acetone and if you like scrub or rub too hard on it, it will ruin it. Right now I'm just going to heat this up again and then just take off the bolts. Alright, so I took the bolts off, but it's still a bit bumpy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my Dremel and just sand it down. Alright, now that that's smoothed down, I'm gonna go ahead and paint her face the flesh tone, let that dry, do another coat, let that one dry, and then do her hair. Alright, first coat is applied. Gonna let it dry, do a second coat, and then continue with the hair. Now that the first coat is dry, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the second coat. Alright, now I'm gonna go ahead and let it dry. Alright, now that I have the face dry, I'm gonna go ahead and mix a few shades of yellow together with white to make blonde. In Michele's case, dirty blonde. So I'm gonna go with darker yellow shades, like I have golden straw here, and then I have gold, and I will mix it in with the whites. Play around with it for a little bit, try to match it, and then just apply it onto the hair. Seem about right? We'll try it out. There's that. So I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna move on to Michele's body. Alright, so now I'm gonna go ahead and strip the color off of Felicity. Alright, so we stripped the majority of the color off. What you want to do with this one, though, is since the dress that I'm going to be using is going to be designed from the end of the movie, Michelle's going to be wearing a pink one, but her dress is sleeveless and you can see her legs. So with this one, you want to make sure that her arms are pretty stripped away from the paint, as well as her legs are pretty cleaned up. That way, it will look neat as the final products. So now that I have her stripped down as much as I can without it being ruined, I'm gonna go ahead and use my Dremel to sand away the sleeves part. We're gonna sand that down and sand the collar of her shirt to make it look more of a dress. Now that she's sanded down a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and start coloring the dress pink. I have my pink polish color right here, and I'm just gonna apply this on here. So you don't want to get paint on the arms, and you don't want to get paint on the legs. So the first coat we put on, I'm gonna let this dry, and then put the second coat on. All right, now that I have her dry, I'm gonna go ahead and apply this second coat. And then I think for the boa, the fuzzy boa that's on the bottom of the dress, I think I'm gonna use clay for that. Now that I applied the second coat, I'm gonna let this dry, and then while that's drying, I'm going to attempt to do a boa with clay. So I'm just gonna use a small amount and then just roll it into a thin roll, I guess, because that's gonna wrap around the bottom of the dress like how it is in the movie, and then let that dry, and then once that's dry, paint over that with pink, and then I'll be done with the body. Alright, so now that the body's dry, I'm gonna try to put the clay and wrap it around the dress. So there's that. I'm gonna heat this up because the clay will harden once it's heated up. And once that is heated up and dry, I'm just gonna paint over it with the pink. There you go. Gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna go back to Michelle's head and then do the hardest part, I think, for me, is the eyes and the eyelashes. So I went ahead and did the eyes myself. They're not perfect, but that is the best I can do without messing it up some more. And this was lucky. Now I'm gonna attempt the eyelashes, so hopefully I don't mess that one up. What I use for the eyes is just like a skinny permanent marker, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing for the eyelashes. And if any of you have any tips on doing the eyes and the eyelashes, please let me know, because I suck at it. So I'm gonna wait for this to dry, because after that I'm done. I just have to attach the head onto the body, and then I'm done. So I'm gonna give this some time and continue. And there you go. Michelle from Romy and Michelle's high school reunion.